Welcome back to another edition of Talk That Talk with DivaSpeaks Relationships. My name is AnGala Portorreal, and we have another letter. That's right, we have another letter. And of course, we have another answer. That's right. But before we get started, I want to invite you to add my channel or subscribe to the DivaSpeaks Relationships channels if you have Apple TV, a Roku television, and or Amazon Fire. You can now find DivaSpeaks Relationships on all of those streaming platforms. Once again, let me repeat. If you have Apple television, if you have a Roku television, and or if you have Amazon Fire, you can find the DivaSpeaks Relationships channel on all of those streaming platforms. In addition to every second and fourth Friday of the month, you can catch my televised version of DivaSpeaks Relationships on Spectrum Cable and AT&T UVERSE at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You would have to check your local listings because as far as I know, in the Carolinas, where I live currently, not too much longer, it's on different channels in the Carolinas. So once again, if you have Spectrum Cable and or if you have AT&T UVERSE, check your local listings to see if you can find the DivaSpeaks Relationship talk show in your area. Otherwise, I need you to add my channel on your Apple television, on your Roku television, and or your Amazon Fire account. So with all of that, guys, we got a letter. And of course, it's an issue or a topic that has been discussed and a lot of people seem to struggle with. And let me just cut to the chase right now. That is minding your own business after the relationship is over. Okay, I'm sorry, I done gave it away, but it is very important. I don't care how hard it is to mind your own business once the relationship is over. So with that being said, let me read what I got in the inbox, okay? So the question is, my ex was toxic with me. Now he is in a relationship and treats her right. Was I the problem? Once again, the letter was the letter that I got. The question that was posed is, my ex was toxic with me. Now he is in a relationship and he treats her right. Was I the problem? Was I the problem? I love the question posed at the end. You know, if most people were to be honest, honest, not only with themselves, but when an opportunity presents itself to help someone who is struggling with an issue that you once struggled with, I think that the dating culture or climate would be a lot better for those who are in it, right? A lot of people have been in this position before where a relationship has ended, whether you wanted it to or not. And you had issues with the person that you were in a relationship. They weren't what you needed them to be to you, for you in that relationship. And somehow or another, the relationship is over and one or the both of you seems to be preoccupied with what the other one is doing. Instead of minding your business, focusing on healing, okay? Focusing on what you could have done better in that relationship and how you will move forward in future relationships. You're worried about what your ex is doing with the next person, with the next woman, with the next man. When simply put, it's none of your business. It didn't work out in the relationship between the two of you. So what that person does with the next person has nothing to do with you. And you should not concern yourself with it. The young lady says that her ex was toxic with her, but he seems to treat this new woman right. Well, I can appreciate the observation, but I find a little flaw in her thinking. If you can say that your ex was toxic with you, what makes you think Or why haven't you thought about the fact that maybe he had that perception of you? Maybe your ex thought, like you're thinking, that you're the toxic one. You was the toxic one to him. So therefore, the relationship has ended and he has moved on with his life. And perhaps, we don't know, you don't know, found a better partner or someone that complements him or someone that he can be in a relationship with that is not so toxic. You know, toxicity can be damaging to your mental health. So it wasn't a healthy relationship for neither one of you. You know, there is this series, I forgot, you know, the actual name of it, but basically it's when two toxic or bad people or wicked people get together, right, by happenstance, and then they wreak havoc on society. Two people that typically wouldn't have met each other find their way to each other, and then the worst happens between the two of them because they brought out the worst in one another. I think the series is called Wicked Attraction. I'm using that as an example. Perhaps you and this guy was something like that. The two of you got together and you brought out the worst in one another, because here you are saying in the aftermath that he was toxic. However, he has moved on. He has a new girlfriend and he seems to treat her better than you were treated by him, right? You know, I hate to say this, and I don't want to be rude when I say this, but this is what happens when you don't mind your business. When you are focused on what he's doing with the woman that he is with now, you find yourself comparing his relationship with you versus his new relationship. It should be none of your business, my good friend. And you pose the question, was I the problem? I don't know. Were you? See, only you can answer that by being honest with yourself and sitting down and evaluating things that you could have done better. Okay? The type of conversations that you were having, the type of arguments that ensued as a result of you guys butting heads, you know, what could you have done better? What could you have not said in those moments? How could you have handled whatever a little bit better? Could you have been a little bit more patient, more understanding? Could you have identified red flags within this guy and in the relationship and walked away sooner? What could you have done better to produce different results? Could you have walked away sooner? So you have, could have been in a position to be in a new relationship right about now yourself. I think that is a good question. Were you the problem? Only you can answer that. Choosing to do something different moving forward in your new relationship, because you will get one, you will be in one, is what you need to be focused on. How he is treating that woman should be none of your business. And you know what I have found? One of the hardest things I have found in my journey, in my bloop years of living on this earth, is sometimes people can actually move on and find someone that is better suited for them in what they want, in how they want to be treated, in their direction in life. Someone who can actually love them the way they want to be loved. It's not a shot at you. I'm just saying sometimes it's really okay for someone to move on with their life after the relationship with you has ended. And I just want to repeat, focusing on what your ex is doing with his new woman is only going to keep you stuck, right? And not moving on with your life, right? And not being able to find or be found by a man who's willing to love you and accept you for who you are. A man that won't be so toxic. A man who can love you the right way. A man who can also bring out the best in you. A man who the both of you can complement one another. I've said this quite a few times in a lot of my shows. Love is out there. Don't pay no mind to what the internet says and all of this BS on these social media platforms is feeding you, right? A lot of that shit is just for shits and giggles, right? But love is out there. But you will never find it focusing on your ex and what he is doing. Or if you are a man, focusing on that woman that you used to be with and who she's doing and what she's doing. The focus needs to be on you. And if there is a teachable moment in the aftermath of a failed relationship, now is the time to find the lesson that you need to learn so that you don't repeat, past mistakes, bad habits, toxic trait, all of that. Now is the time to sit with yourself and own up what problems, what issues that you brought to that last relationship that led to the demise of it, that led to the two of you breaking up. Focus on yourself. What your ex-man is doing with his new woman shouldn't be any of your business. She may be getting treated the way that you wanted to be treated by this man, but is she doing some of the things that you was doing, to get different results? An example could be, maybe this woman isn't combative. Maybe this woman pours into him. Maybe this woman is soothing to his soul. Maybe this woman is a peaceful woman. Maybe this woman doesn't want much out of life. Maybe this woman is just all about him. I don't know what it could be. I don't want to put her down because she's not the villain in this story whatsoever. And neither are you. But I'm just saying, what she is bringing to the table in terms of how she is, how she treats him, could be producing different results from the man that used to be yours. It's no shade to you, but it is what it is. I want you to focus on you and what you can do better, how you can present your best, authentic, and positive self and show up in a new relationship to a new man. You know what? I was thinking as well, in an effort just to let you know that you are not alone in, making an observation about your ex and how he treated you versus how he treats the new woman. Once upon a time, I was on the side of TikTok that specifically speaks to and addresses narcissism, narcissists, and how they show up in relationships, right? And I remember a lot of the people that were giving feedback on the videos about being in a relationship with a narcissist, being discarded by a narcissist, and all of this talk. I was learning something new. It was a whole new world for me because at the time I was able to identify and relate to a lot of the things that they were saying about being in a relationship with a narcissist, because at the time I was in a breakup. I was experiencing a breakup of my own. And a lot of men and women were doing exactly what you are talking about. And the question that you were posed, they were comparing how the narcissist that they used to be in a relationship with or currently in a relationship with, and that the narcissist was cheating. Getting back to what I was saying, how the narcissist treated them versus the new supply or the new person, the new woman, the new man. And they would always make the comparison, just like you, of how the narcissist used to treat them versus how they are treating the new person. And this is me explaining to you that you are not alone. This happens. People do think about this. Like, wait a minute. We were together. I asked you to do this, and a third for me. And you never did it. There was always a problem. It always led to an argument. But here you are, seems to be, in a whole new relationship. And everything that I begged you to do, you're over here giving it away freely to the new person that you're with. So what was the problem? We could still be together had you done these things with me and for me that I asked you for, that I begged you to do. You made it an issue. You made it a point not to do it, even though I begged you. I stayed with you. I gave you ample time and opportunity to give me the things that I was asking for in the relationship in that moment, right? But here's the thing. People do what they want to do in relationships with whomever. For all we know, all of us that have had that complaint could have been placeholders, right? The people that we were with before could have really been biding their time until they actually got with the person that they wanted to be with, and now they can show up and give that person everything that you asked for, because now they are finally with a person that they can do that for, that they can envision themselves doing the things for them that they found it a problem doing it for you. if you're just now tuning in, we had a young lady write in. She posed a question, and she says, my ex was toxic with me. Now he's in a new relationship and he treats her right. Was I the problem? And while I can appreciate her having a moment of self-reflection and asking, was she the problem? My short answer at the beginning of the show was, if we tend to mind our own business after a relationship is over with someone, we wouldn't create certain issues, okay, or certain insecurities within ourselves. Once the relationship is over, what your ex does with the next person is none of your business. Now, that's a word for somebody. I don't know who, or maybe I do, but that's a word for someone. And I also fed this young lady some encouragement with letting her know that that happens a lot. You know, I was explaining that, you know, typically people who come out of relationship with narcissists will find themselves having access to certain information about what the narcissist is doing in the new relationship or whatever. And certain questions are posed, like he's doing this, that, and the third, or she's doing this, that, and the third with the new person when this is all I ever wanted, blah, blah, and blah, blah. However, I still stand on what I said. If we tend to mind our own business, then what the new person is getting from your ex should be none of your concern, should be none of your business. Move on with your life, because I'm going to emphasize the fact that love is out there. And once you are able to move on with your life and accept that that relationship is over, accept the fact that you did not get what you wanted or needed from that person, then you make space and you make room for someone to come into your life who would be a better fit than the previous person. Because in the words of someone that, I truly look up to, your destiny is never tied to anyone that has left your life. And if that person was meant for you, or, was truly committed to seeing things through with you and, going on life's journey with you, then they would still be with you. But they chose, I guess, either one or the both of you chose to end the relationship. The relationship has ended. Let it go. Let go of any expectations that you had of that person and that relationship. Free yourself of that. Because again, what they're doing with the new person, that's none of your business. Stop making it your business. I also pointed out that just like she can say that her ex was toxic, what makes her think that he's not saying the same thing about her? That she was the toxic one in their relationship, which is why he has now moved on. You see, there are always two sides to every story. Always two sides to every story. Just like you saying that he was toxic, he probably is saying that you were toxic, and the both of you could be telling the truth, and you were toxic to one another. Which means, okay, and it's further evident that the two of you were not good for one another. You have to let it go. Let it go. It's, the relationship is over. This person has moved on. I need to do the same with my life, is what you need to be telling yourself. You posed the question, was I the problem? You could have been. He could have very well been the problem as well. Both of you just may not have been good for one another. You don't have to take it so hard, and you don't have to question yourself so much. Do the work that you need to do on you, right? Okay? Be the best person that you can be moving forward, okay? Show up as the best version of yourself in your new relationship. But you're never going to be in another relationship worried about what your ex is doing with his new woman. Let that man be great to that woman. That man doesn't owe you anything anymore. The two of you are over. That's a word for somebody. I don't know who. Maybe I do. But, move on with your life. You know what? It can only benefit you. It can only benefit you to move on with your life and stop worrying about spilt spilt milk. Spoiled milk, spilt milk, whatever the people in the backwoods used to say. Okay, the old folk in the backwoods used to say. That's none of your business. That's not your problem anymore. And I guarantee you, you will free yourself and you will feel better once you stop worried about what he's doing with that new woman. Let that new woman have that man, whether that is this new person getting to have a great guy, which is a better fit for her and him, or she receiving the same treatment that you did and he turns out to be a toxic person. But nevertheless, not your problem, not yours to deal with. That's her problem now, okay? That's her problem. She's not the villain in your story, okay? She is not the villain. She is just a woman who is in a relationship, according to you, with a guy who treats her well. Wish that woman well and move on with your life. How he's treating her is not your business. It is over between the two of you. Accept it and move on. You know what? I dare to say this. Anytime you are worried about what your ex is doing with the next person, okay? Anytime you are concerning yourself with what your ex is doing, or you are making it your business, to me, in my humble opinion, you are not over that person. I don't know who that's for, but that's a word for someone. You're not over that person. You still got feelings there. I don't know if you're in denial or not. I don't know whether you have come to terms with that or not. I don't even know whether you can accept it or not. But worrying about what your ex is doing with the next is a sign that you're not over that person. You could be bitter, perhaps, behind the breakup. You could be looking for revenge. You could be now seeing that perhaps you were the problem and you are wishing that things were different. You know, you're nitpicking in matters that have nothing to do with you. Again, this is just my opinion. Anytime you're worried about a person who is now, by all accounts, your ex and what they are doing with the next is an indication you have not moved on. You may still have feelings for that person. You have not wrapped it up and you are not trying to move on with your life. So that's something that you have to fix and face yourself. That's your journey to take alone. Again, that's just my opinion. Because I know as a woman of a particular age, anytime that I concerned myself with what an ex of mine was doing, on some level, I had not accepted the breakup, or there was still some residual feelings there, unaddressed, that I needed to handle on my own. Okay? And let me also tell you this. Once you make up in your mind to move on from whatever happened in that relationship, once you make up in your mind and you are intentional about moving forward, let me give you some hope and encouragement. Baby, when I tell you that love is out there, when I tell you you can end up with somebody who will treat you better, that's a better fit, feels better on every level. I don't care how you take that, okay? Do with it as you please. But when you let go, you are free to receive what is for you, okay? A better experience, a better partner, okay? A new beginning. It will come to you once you let them and that go. Let it go. Free yourself. You deserve that. You deserve happiness as well, and a person who will treat you right. Keeping tabs on your ex is not a good look. Concerning yourself with what he's doing or she's doing with the next person is not a good look. What it does look like is you have not moved on. What it does look like is you are comparing yourself to the new individual, and you shouldn't. That has nothing to do with you. How he treated you is a reflection of him, a combination of what you brought to the table and how the two of you interacted with one another. And again, you posed a valid question. Were you the problem? And the fact that you can fix your mouth to even ask that is an indication that perhaps you know on some level that you did not present your best in that relationship. You had an opportunity to do so, and for whatever reason, maybe you didn't. That doesn't make you the bad person. It doesn't make you the villain. It just means that the time you served in that relationship is over, right? And that if you did not present your best self, if you were a problem, if you were problematic in that relationship, make it a point to learn from it, right? In your new and your next relationship, do better. Do better so you won't get the same results, so that you will never have to ask this question again. And moving forward, if the next relationship doesn't work out, or if it comes to an end, don't concern yourself with what that person is doing. That's not your business. Stop creating problems and issues for yourself that have nothing to do with you. You are creating issues that should not be there, and you're making his business your business when it's none of your business. Listen, guys, this has been Talk That Talk with DivaSpeaks Relationships. My name is AnGala Portorreal. Don't forget, if you have Apple TV, download or add the DivaSpeaks Relationships to your Apple television. I'm also on Roku. You can add DivaSpeaks Relationships on your Roku television. You can also find me on Amazon Fire. Add me over there too. If you have all three, you big ballin'. Add all three. You can catch me anywhere, okay? As well as every second and fourth Friday of the month, my talk show comes on, okay? Via Access 21 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am the talk show queen over here, honey. Let me pipe down a little bit. Every second and fourth Friday of the month, you can catch my televised talk show on Spectrum Cable and AT&T UVERSE. Check your local. I can't talk. I swear to God, I'm trying. Check your local listings to see where my show airs. And until the next time, the diva has spoken. I want to invite you to add my channel or subscribe to the DivaSpeaks Relationships channels if you have Apple TV, a Roku television, and or Amazon Fire. You can now find DivaSpeaks Relationships on all of those streaming platforms. Once again, let me repeat. If you have Apple television, if you have a Roku television, and or if you have Amazon Fire, you can find the DivaSpeaks Relationships channel on all of those streaming platforms. In addition to every second and fourth Friday of the month, you can catch my televised version of DivaSpeaks Relationships on Spectrum Cable and AT&T UVERSE at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You would have to check your local listings because, as far as I know, in the Carolinas, where I live currently, not too much longer, it's on different channels in the Carolinas. So once again, if you have Spectrum Cable and or if you have AT&T UVERSE, check your local listings to see if you can find the DivaSpeaks Relationship talk show in your area. Otherwise, I need you to add my channel on your Apple television, on your Roku television, and or your Amazon Fire account. So with all of that, guys, we got a letter, and of course,